So at this point now we need to set up a solution so that we can actually go ahead and start taking data with the LabFlow and begin training on that solution. So when you want to make a solution, you need to go to the main Stream Analytics website. Just go back here, and once you're logged in again there, you want to go to the solutions and in the sidebar here. When you click that, you get three different options. There's public and private. These are already published, finished solutions that you can choose from. But we want to make a new one, so we go to the draft solutions. Here you'll find a list of all the draft solutions that are available at your company through your Stream Analytics website account. If you want to add a new one, hit this plus button in the top of the screen here. Now we get this basic information screen where you have to type in all the information about the solution you want to make. All these fields are mandatory, so you'll have to type them in. So at this point our solution is set up and ready to go, and we can connect back to the LabFlow box and start measuring samples. Here we've got two main windows. One is the main capture window. This is where your reflectance results will show as they're being measured. And we also have the capture setup window. This is where you choose what solution you're training or what project you're using. Hit the refresh button to get that new data from the cloud. So before you start scanning, it's important to turn the light on in the LabFlow box for at least 20 minutes before your measurements start. This is to let the light source warm up and stabilize so that you get a nice consistent spectrum for all your measurements. First we'll need to begin calibration. We need to calibrate the LabFlow box using calibration standards. This is so that results measured in one LabFlow box will be applicable to other LabFlow boxes. So first you just want to hit that begin calibration button, and it will bring up window that's asking you for the first reflectance standard. The 0% reflectance standard is essentially blocking the light that's inside of the chamber. And you want to block the light and not just turn the light off, because turning the light off will basically cause the spectrum of the light source to destabilize, and that will cause problems with your scans and your results later on. So the LabFlow box is designed to accommodate these LabSphere reflectance standards. We've included 4 for this process. They're basically different. They reflect a certain percentage of light back over a wide range, and this way we can accommodate for any kind of differences in how the spectrometers respond to different intensities of light. So the first standard we need to put in there is a 2% standard. If you just look on the back of them, they've got a number listed there that tells you what percentage reflectance they have. So I'll just open this up. There are little screw-on tops, so just take them out like that. You can see this one's a 2%, so that means it only reflects about 2% of the light back. Oh, make sure with these reflectance standards that you don't touch the reflective surface. This is because once they start getting dirty, they'll basically change their reflectance values. If you get some dust on them, you can clean them off with a bit of dry air. Don't blow on them because that'll just get moisture on them. There's a little slot that accommodates these. You just put that into the drawer like so, and then open the chamber, and again put it into the slot. Push it all the way back. So once that's in there, you can go and just go ahead and hit capture on the calibration window. You want to go through all the remaining standards in the same manner. Lastly, it asks you to insert a wavelength standard. The wavelength standard basically allows us to calibrate for any differences in measured wavelengths of the spectrometer, and it's also another LabSphere standard. LabFlow will start doing the math on basically the calibration has to be applied to all your scans to keep them consistent. And now the calibration is complete. And just hit close, and we can start measuring our actual samples. Once you finish the calibration, you'll have about a half an hour before you have to recalibrate again. This limit is enforced because spectrometers have drift that can cause them to change in behavior over time, mostly due to temperature changes or other sorts of things like that. One thing though is the solutions. Basically, for each component, we enforce a minimum amount of scans to be 100. So basically the LabFlow box is designed to accommodate a petri dish of this size. And the light and optical collection path are basically optimized to measure at this sort of sample height. There's a rotary platform here. We'll just set the petri dish onto there and put that back into the box. Next thing to do is to turn the motor on so that the sample starts spinning. That's this switch here. And you can see that the sample is very slowly rotating. It rotates at a rate of about 1 revolution per minute. At this point you'll go to the main capture window and basically just hit this capture button and scans will begin to be taken. 100 scans will probably take you roughly 6 to 7 minutes. Once that's all done, you can go back to the Stream Analytics website and start training your solution.